Hey there, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I'm your host, Darin Atkins, and my guest here today is Leatherneck swimming and diving coach for the past 3 seasons, Coach Greg Naumann. Coach, thank you very much for joining us here today on what I know is a very busy schedule. And we'll get right into it here. I know the season wasn't necessarily as expected, but last weekend you got a big win at Monmouth where your men's team swept Monmouth, Valparaiso, and Augustana, and your women only lost to Valparaiso. How did that win carry over to the conference championship tournament next week?
Ends up being a pretty good confidence builder for our team as we go into our conference meet, having pretty much gone the entire season without a single win. We do compete against some very, very tough programs, and so to be able to kind of end it off on a high note will give them a little bit more confidence as we go into our conference meet, knowing that, hey, okay, we pulled out 2 wins on the women's side out of 3, and then 3 on the men's side out of 3. So it'll give them a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder as we go into our conference meet.
Was there anything you did coaching-wise differently the weeks leading up to that meet, or just did the players just decide to step up?
As we've kind of started winding down our season, what we do is we actually try and reduce the amount of workload we're putting on them, so they're actually getting more rest. They're finally starting able to sleep in a couple of times throughout the course of the week. Normally we're up and practicing at 6 o'clock, and then we're back again in the afternoon. So they normally have a pretty rough schedule as we train throughout the season. So now as we wind things down, we're getting a little bit more relaxed on what we're doing. So they're starting to feel a little bit more recovered. They're starting to feel like the everyday individual out there who doesn't have aching shoulders and legs and stuff like that.
Which I'm sure they enjoy now.
They do, they do.
And like I said, not a lot of team success, but the individual records were there. A lot of personal goals were met, a lot of records. Freshmen such as Dan Ogilvy stepped up really big and got multiple Summit League Athletes of the Week. Julia Rasmussen and Josh Davis got Papa John's Scholars of the Week. How do you take individual records when competition wasn't necessarily as what you expected?
The way our sport kind of operates is we are a very individualized sport, whereas we're also kind of we've got a team element in there as well, and so we're kind of used to being a little more of an individualized accolade here and there, you know, seeing the tremendous success that a lot of our student athletes have had in the pool. It's kind of one of those that we expect it to happen. We've got some very talented swimmers and divers, and so being able to see them do that kind of stuff, get the Summit League Conference Scholar Athlete of the Week, those kind of accolades, it's not really necessarily a big surprise to us, but it's something that we do like to make sure that, you know, they're getting as we go through the course of the season. It doesn't really have any effect on what our schedule looks like. Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit tougher when they've got to compete against the University of Iowa or even St. Louis, but either way, we've still got some talented individuals on the team that they're able to get up and still get those awards.
And like I said, the season's about coming to an end. Conference is next week. Obviously, the off-season, any college at any stage, any athletics, recruiting's a main staple in rebuilding a team. How does your recruiting going so far, and any big names that you have surprisingly got? Or
we've done an incredible job recruiting, specifically on the women's side. Normally, over the past probably 15 years, we've only had a total of maybe about 4 people actually sign early, and we had, I think, a total of 6 commitments at our early signing period back in November. Since then, just strictly on our women's side, we've added, now I think we're up to about 8 girls, and then on the men's side, we actually just got another commitment 2 days ago. So right now on the guys' side, we're only losing a couple of swimmers due to graduation, and so we only have to replace a little bit. We had a tremendous class coming in. But with how our recruiting goes on the men's side, they always try and commit about March, April, so we're not really even worried about our men's team quite yet. We're expecting to be able to bring in a handful of people as we kind of get out of our season. We'll hit March, hit April, and hopefully by mid-April we'll actually be pretty well set on our recruiting. And I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks, actually on the women's side, we'll actually be done with our recruiting. Won't even have to worry about anything late March or early April for them. So it's going well.
Off your shoulder,
yes,
for sure.
Definitely.
And what's the outlook? Is it bright for, since you got such a young core group coming? I mean, you only have 6 seniors leaving. You got obviously a lot of recruits coming in. What's your outlook for the future?
It's going to be a very, very young team, but at the same time, we've been able to bring in some tough swimmers. One of our top swimmers coming in on the women's side is a 504, 500 freestyler. Some of our guys coming in this year were only 458 freestylers. So it's going to make for a interesting scenarios in practice when our guys are getting beat by one of our girls. But we've brought in a lot of depth. We've got basically every stroke and distance discipline brought in for this next year with just the recruiting class on the women's side. So it's going to be a lot more competition in practice, not just with the men's team and the women's team and their respective genders, but also our women's team trying to beat up on our guys' team in practice, and our guys trying to maintain their kind of gender status of guys being better athletes. And so it'll actually kind of work out in our benefit to really get everybody to work harder in the pool as we're training on a day-to-day basis.
Excellent, excellent. And a little off the team aspect, a little more on you, because I know you have a deep swimming background. It dates back all the way to your playing day and your swimming days. You are a WIU grad, 98, 99 conference championship. I know you don't like to gloat, but and you are assistant coach at Truman State along with head recruiter there. Also Macomb High School, you coached there for a couple years and led a relay team to state. I know it's a hard question to ask, but what's your biggest accomplishment, accolade, success, coach or player, or you can pick one of each, it doesn't matter.
I think probably the biggest success is actually knowing that the program has been cut, and now we're finally getting to the point where the program is back on two solid legs. We're still kind of wobbly this year, but I know with what we've got coming in on the women's side, I think to me that's probably the big satisfying moment of my career as a coach thus far. It's pretty much the culmination of having to actually train these kids, trying to actually recruit, keep everything on track and everything. So I would actually have to say that knowing the program is going to be on a solid two legs next year is probably the most gratifying thing I've done as a swimming coach thus far.
And on the coaching, I know coaching takes a lot of hard work, dedication. You have to be patient working with young athletes. How did you become a coach, and when did you know you wanted to become a coach?
I've been a coach for a very long time. I started coaching after about my sophomore year in college swimming here. I've done swim lessons, taught that for a very long time, and so that's one of those that it's just a normal habit and everything. So I think it was probably towards the end of my undergraduate days where I finally decided, hey, coaching is what I wanted to do as a job. And I've put myself into, I've done the high school thing, I've done the club background. I spent some time as a college coach before graduation, and after doing the high school thing, realized, no, that's not where I wanted to be. Club, I enjoy club. There's some things that I enjoy about that, but others that I don't enjoy. But I think with the college aspect, I'm really enjoying being able to work strictly with the student athletes versus having to worry about them taking off and going to do something dumb in gym class back home, with whatever their PE teachers are doing. So a little more control makes it a little bit more entertaining for me at the college level.
Seems like you picked an excellent profession, doing a great job, and again, good luck next weekend in conference, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And that is all we have here for another edition of Western Illinois Athletics. I'm Darin Atkins. Until next time, have a great day.